What is good, NIO family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I'm going to be talking about the one and only NIO stock, what you should be looking out for the future. I'm also going to do some in-depth technical analysis and talk about what may end up playing out for NIO, because we do have some very big dates ahead of us coming out very soon. I'm also going to break down what happened during the big events where NIO just launched to Berlin, and why NIO ended up dropping anyways despite having so many strong fundamentals. I'm going to break down what the data is showing for NIO, and also some big updates coming out from them as well that make me very, very bullish for the future. Now, before I break anything down though, before I get into any more details, I do have to mention a couple of things before starting. Firstly, I'm not a financial planner. Don't take any of this as financial advice whatsoever. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. Not only benefits me, it benefits the entire NIO community as a whole. And the last thing is, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull, the link down below, and deposit any amount of money into the account, you're guaranteed up to 12 free stocks, each worth up to $2,000. The best part is any of these 12 free stocks could be a free NIO share, a free Tesla share, and a mix of all of them. It's a limited time offer. The offer ends in just 2 weeks. Check it out before they run out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. So looking at NIO, this thing is down almost 7% for the day, taking another massive hit again. And one of the things I mentioned in my previous videos is, look, NIO has a very big catalyst, and that is the big launch to these different countries. The thing about that, though, is it's not going to really cause the share price to just rally overnight. For the long-term future, these are big moves that they are making, especially the news that they're going to be expanding to more countries. However, for the short term, I was talking about this gap all the way down to $13. I also mentioned to everyone that we could see NIO hit the 12 to 13 range very soon, in my honest opinion. And so far, NIO did actually make it to the 13s. So my prediction is coming, closer and closer. And I hate to really say it that way. I'm still very bullish for NIO, guys. I still love the company. I'm still amazed by what they're doing. But for the short term, when the market is reacting like this is going to have its effect on NIO. So the overall market is taking a big hit. We can see the NASDAQ, the QQQ, the SPY, they're all down right now. And this, as a result, is having a big effect on NIO. Despite that, you have to remember, we're not moving on fundamentals. NIO is not dropping because it's bad. It's because of the fact that the overall market is dropping this way. The Fed is continuing to kind of push this very hawkish narrative, and it is really causing markets to respond this way. So looking at some big data that came out, we can see that NIO, according to Bloomberg, they're actually targeting 4 new European markets for the EV rollout very, very soon. They're going to be entering Denmark and Sweden and the Netherlands. This is absolutely incredible because the more they expand, the better it's going to be for their company and kind of like earnings going forward. Now, looking at another big thing that came out, we can see that NIO also had a big launch in Germany, and this is going to be very big for them as well because this actually was very successful, and they showed off their ET7, the ET5 sedans during the event. And they announced that for the time being, however, they're only going to be renting or leasing cars in Europe just for some time. Now, this in turn is not the end of the world because they're still kind of like gaining exposure over there, and we are going to see deliveries starting in Germany and the Netherlands on October 16th. So for the time being, they're just working on allowing people to kind of like rent these cars for some time. But for the future, they are going to be looking to selling them and making more deliveries over there. So this is just a temporary thing. We're not necessarily fixated on this forever. However, I still stand very bullish despite all these, FUD articles coming out about this. I'm still very excited. Now, remember, each of the subscriptions also offers a lot of flexibility to customers. Some could be as short as a month, some could be longer than that. And they're just doing it just to really help people see what these cars are like in the beginning. Now, as time goes on, they are going to be continuing to push across more European countries, and they will be selling them, in my opinion. But for the time being, they're starting off with the rent side. Now, one other big thing that's going on is the fact that they did actually make some big announcements in Germany too. We actually saw the start of sales of the ES8 SUV and other big models out there that are very competitive and very popular too. And they mentioned that by 2025, they're going to be present in 25 countries and regions, according to William Lee Bin. Once again, absolutely incredible news. I'm super excited because of this. I really believe that this expansion is going to help their earnings going forward. Now, right now, looking at the data for NIO, there is something very important we have to note. right now, as the market is taking a hit, this is because of what the Fed is doing, and also because of the fact that the market is still set for more potential downside as we're seeing more and more peak capitulation. I don't know why this page is taking forever to load. I apologize about that. But down here, you could see, looking at the price pairs ratio, we're actually seeing it coming down for NIO just like this. And this is once again a sign that NIO is dropping a little bit harder than the overall market. So things like this have a tendency of happening despite all the buy ratings NIO is getting. So what is my essential short-term prediction for NIO? This whole thing looks like a distribution schematic, and it's looking like NIO is heading for this $13 range, this big gap all the way down here. And you guys could see that this gap actually was not entirely filled. Right here, I do see NIO coming to this target. I want to see NIO bounce off 13, but if we don't bounce off 13 and the market does crash, NIO could end up forming a nut, kind of like a double bottom here, coming even lower than that. But we'll have to wait and see how that goes first and how it reacts to this. Once again, my target was 12 to 13 for NIO, but it is possible to go even lower if the market does end up crashing relatively soon. Now, if that's not the case, if the market gets a small bounce, NIO could bottom out around that range, but otherwise we don't truly know how it's going to react to like $12. So that's why it's best to just watch this $13 level, see how it really does here. And I am anticipating NIO is going to come all the way down to 13 very, very soon. So I don't also think that we're just going to bounce like perfectly off 13. We could touch like the low 12s, mid 12s very soon as well. So those are the very key targets I have. I need to make as very like blunt as possible with everyone. I wanted to make this as clear as possible too. So watch this zone right here, 12.4. It's about 13. I do see NIO coming down here probably on Monday or Tuesday. Please be very ready. Do what you have to do, and I will most definitely see you guys in the next one. One last thing I want to do though before actually finishing the video, I forgot to mention this, is I want to do another like more in-depth technical look at how NIO is performing. On the daily, this thing is just continuing to just drop and drop and drop. Look at RSI, our EMAs, and our other indicators. You will see NIO is just very oversold, and we're also seeing potential for it to continue to drop because we're not seeing the MACD kind of like closing yet. It is slowing down a bit, but it's not fully closing, and it actually opened up a little bit more for today. RSI is still very oversold. We're losing momentum, so it still looks pretty bearish overall. On the weekly, I don't think it's any different on the weekly. We're continuing to see a big drop each and every week, and it's still looking kind of oversold. So once again, it still looks like we're going to see more potential downside. There's still lots of bearish momentum on the stock. And on, let me actually use like the 2 hour. On the 2 hour time frame, we are seeing it continuing to drop as well because the EMAs are wide open right here. We're well below the 200 EMA. It looks bearish no matter how you try to look at it. NIO looks like it's going to head for that $13 zone very soon. If we do get a small bounce, 14 is going to be resistance, but after that, I still anticipate some downside. Now, it's not the end of the world, guys. I'm not losing faith in the company. In fact, this is just a very good buying opportunity for the long term. So do what you have to do. That's not financial advice, by the way, and I will see you guys in the next video. NIO to the moon because the long-term future is still bright despite everything going on, and I'm still very bullish for many years to come, so don't lose faith just yet, and I'll see you guys in the next one.